Welcome guys to another video, and this video is quite different sa madalas kong ina-upload ng mga videos because hindi siya masyadong technical but it focuses more on concepts surrounding the stock market na non-technical that's related to psychology and stuff of that nature. So if you've read yung community post, so na-mention ko na this video is one of the most important videos that I made so far sa channel na to. So it's definitely a must-watch, lalo na sa mga newbies or mga beginners and probably even for intermediate traders or investors. So it's very important that you stick around from start to finish because gaya nga ng sabi ko, this is very significant, lalo na sa trading or investing journey mo. So before I start with the main parts of the presentation or this video, onting disclaimer lang, the definitions, the descriptions, the way I talk about some of the terms here may not be the textbook definitions ng mga terms na to. Hindi yung mga mababasa nyo based sa mga trading books or mga investing books or mga tinuturo sa mga formal courses or sa mga schools, colleges, or universities. So some of the terms or some of the concepts that I'll talk about here are based on my experience as a stock market participant for more than 8 years, nearly 9 years na. And also shared experience from knowing several traders through the years, whether they are retail traders, individuals, fund managers, proprietary traders, private fund managers. And also if I mention certain stocks here, hindi yun pag-hype, so it's not a recommendation to buy or sell those stocks. It's simply part of the discussion or the conversation. So with that being said, let's formally start itong video na to sa unang slide natin. So I'd like you to pause this video first and read very carefully itong quote na nababasa nyo sa screen and try to understand or think about what it means para sa'yo. So this quote is widely attributed to Malcolm X or Alexander Hamilton. So the context actually of this quote is related more sa mga social issues, sa politics during the times of these people. Pero sobrang nag-resonate lang sa akin itong quote na to because it's something na relatable somehow pagdating sa experience ko sa stock market as a stock market investor or trader. And there are different variations of this quote din, pero ito kasi yung natatandaan ko talaga. So, he who stands for nothing will fall for anything. So, anong ibig sabihin nung second part ng quote na to, yung fall for anything? So, basically what it means is, sa context ng trading, you're susceptible to manipulation. Madali ka mag-change ng ideas mo kung paano ka pumili ng mga stocks, 'di ba? Kung ano yung stocks na bibilhin mo, kung magkano yung ilalagay mo na amount sa stock, kung magkano yung ibebenta mo. You're easily influenced sa mga nababasa mo sa social media or madali kang ma-hype. You don't have any directions when it comes to your trading plans. Hindi ka nakakasunod doon. And you don't have conviction when you buy certain stocks or when you sell certain stocks. So it says that he who stands for nothing. So basically what it means is if you stand for something, you won't be susceptible sa mga mistakes na na-mention ko. And standing for something includes having your core values, your principles, your techniques, your strategies, or your systems when it comes to the stock market because you will no longer believe, you will no longer get easily hyped sa mga nababasa mo, sa mga naririnig mo, and you'll form confidence or conviction when making your trading decisions because you have these things that you can stand on or you can stand for. And these things that you stand on or stand for rely heavily on your identity as a market participant. So that's why I mentioned nga dun sa post ko na in the stock market, it is of great significance that you know who you are, your identity. Because yan yung magiging guide nyo sa mga gagawin sa stock market in the present and in the future. So that leads us to these three words, yung traders, investors, and speculators. So, these three types of market participants compose the stock market as a whole. We can divide the majority of stock market participants or stock market players sa categories na to, no? And of course, there are subsets, but the majority can fit sa categories na to. Let's start off, no, sa pinakauna or sa beginning before we talk about those three categories. So, ano ba yung stock market participant? Basically, a stock market participant is an individual who joins the stock market, diba, in order to buy or sell stocks or shares. So, sa madaling sabi, no, kahit sinong individual na nag-open ng account sa broker, automatic stock market participant ka na. Kung pumasok ka sa isang classic na brokerage firm, stock market participant ka. Kung meron kang business, tapos meron kayong corporate account and nag-decide kang yung extra funds nyo sa business, ipapasok nyo sa stock market. So, stock market participant, yung mismong company nyo. Pero syempre, as the individual, ikaw pa rin yung nagko-control kung saan napupunta yung investments, diba? So, basically, it's anyone who joins the stock market. So, syempre, kung nagsimula tayo sa isang stock market participant, most likely may journey yan. And based from experience, it all boils down into three na nangyayari, no? Or the journey ends in three of these paths. So, the first one is quitting. So, I'll elaborate, no? At di-discuss ko pa. So, most of the time when market participants decide to join the stock market, so, mag-i-invest sila, no? Ng certain amount, whether that's 5 digits or 6 digits or some more than. So, ang gagawin nila, natutunan nila yung stock market sa friends, no? Sa mga katrabaho, sa news, or sa family member, or sa social media. And then, naglagay na sila ng pera. Tapos, ang ending, nasunog yung investment nila, no? So, basically, bumili sila ng stock, tapos, nag-down ng 30%, no? 40%, 50%, X number of years. Tapos, wala silang kinikita. So, eventually, no, after X number of years, they decide na, ay, hindi para sa akin yung stock market. So, hindi ako marunong dyan or hindi ako magaling dyan. So, mag-quit na ako. Kukunin ko na yung pera ko sa broker. So, basically, winidraw mo yung pera mo sa account and you decide na you no longer want to participate in the stock market. So, that's one path or one road, no, na tinatahak ng mga ibang market participants. So, they quit. The second one is forget yung portfolio or / become forced investors. So, what do I mean by this? Pumasok ulit sa stock market, no, naglagay ng amount, 5 digits, 6 digits, or more than. And then, they were able to buy mga stocks. And then, ang ending, yung stocks nila nag-down ng 10%, 20%, 30%. May mga ibang stocks na tumataas, 10%, 5%. May mga stocks na sobrang lalim na, no? Nag-70%, nag-80% loss. So, clearly, hindi kumikita itong individual na to. So, what they do is, they become forced investors, no? They use the reason na, okay, nakapaglagay na ako ng pera dito, tapos, ang sabi naman sa nababasa ko sa social media or ang narinig ko naman sa YouTube na tinuturo ng tao na to is, i-hold mo yan, tapos after 3, 4, 5 years, no, kikita ka naman ng dividends, tataas din yan eventually. So, initially, they bought a stock for a certain reason, and because nawawala na ng pera, they become forced investors. Nagbabago yung strategy or technique or yung system nila because napilitan sila na hawakan na lang yung stock. Kasi syempre ayaw na lang i-cut loss or ayaw na lang ibenta yung stock na nag 50% down na, 'di ba? Kasi syempre kung naglagay ka ng 300,000 tapos nag 50% na, kung nagsisimula ka pa lang, ang hirap i-cut nung 150,000 na paper loss, 'di ba? So they become forced investors and just hope na eventually, after X number of years, mababalikan yung average price nila or tataas pa. So, in the common vernacular of the stock market, no, dito sa ating PSE lingo, ang tawag doon is ipit or ipitski, di ba? And some of these people just simply forget their portfolio, no? Siguro sa mga pumapasok sa stock market na kahit papano may kaya or kumikita ng malaki. So, let's say naglagay lang sila kunwari ng 200,000, di ba? But they're earning 6 digits or more every year. So, baka sa kanila, hindi naman ganun kalaki yung 200,000 or 300,000. So, they just simply forget their portfolio na meron pala silang nalagay dun. So, hayaan na lang nila or kakalimutan na lang nila kasi hindi naman kumikita. So, for these two paths, according sa reports or statistics, 80% of stock market participants, no, within 5 years end up in these two categories. So, ibig sabihin nun, the majority, no, of the stock market participants, 8 out of 10 sa kada 10 nagbubukas ng stock market accounts within 5 years, yung 8 dun sa 10, either nagki-quit or nagiging forced investors or kinakalimutan na lang yung portfolio nila kasi hindi kumikita. So, siguro naman, none of you, no, my viewers or subscribers, napunta sa path number 1, 'di ba? Kasi kung nag-quit na kayo, hindi na sana kayo nanonood dito, 'di ba? Or maybe there's an off chance na nag-quit kayo before and then nag-decide na manumbalik sa stock market, no? And this time, you want to gain information or learn knowledge, no, about the stock market. And pwede rin na previously you were in the second path, so pwedeng forced investor or nakalimutan yung portfolio and then you suddenly check na you remember meron ka nga palang stock market account and then you decide that you want to learn more about the stock market. This time, mas gusto mo nang seryosohin or you're watching videos on YouTube or reading social media posts because you want to learn why hindi nag-work yung mga investments mo. And you don't want to become a forced investor or ayaw mong maipit. So, sabi ko nga, no, within 5 years, 80% lead to these two paths. So, for the rest of the market participants, it leads to this, which is learning that something is wrong, no? Learning that there are mistakes and you want to know if there is something better out there. So, you develop a system. So, dito na pumapasok yung lahat nagsisimula na, example, ay bibilhin ko yung Jollibee kasi mahilig ako sa Chicken Joy tapos tingin ko hindi na magbabago yung sentiment ng mga Pinoy pagdating sa Jollibee and hindi na sila malulugi ever so bibili ako niyan. Parang ganun, 'di ba? Or pwedeng nung nagsisimula ka pa lang, bibilin ko tong BPI kasi ito yung bangko ko ever since eh. And sa tingin ko hindi sila malulugi kasi natutuwa naman ako sa services nila. Or kung anong bangko yan, BDO or Metrobank or whatever. So, most of the time, stock market participants buy stocks this way. Diba? And then, eventually, path number 1 or path number 2 happens. Tapos, they decide that parang hindi okay, no? Yung ginagawa ko na binibili lang based sa emotional decisions or sa pag-rely ko lang, no? Sa sarili kong opinion or knowledge. So, they begin to develop a system. So, ano ba yung mga system na napapag-usapan natin? Dito pumapasok yung mga peso cost averaging, yung mga divide mo yung investment allocation mo, mga 80% stocks, 20% bonds, mga diversification techniques, 'di ba? Merong nagde-delve into trading na sa charts na nakafocus, meron mga pinaghalo-halo yung mga iba't ibang klaseng techniques and strategy na yon. So, I think most probably, if not all of my viewers or subscribers are in this third road or path, no? So, it's either bago ka pa lang sa stock market, no? 1 to 2 years, and then you decide that you want to learn and develop a system or learn new strategies or techniques, no? So, that's why you're listening to this video or following or subscribing sa channel ko. Or, sa off chance na galing kayo sa path number 1 and 2, tapos you decide to learn and develop a system. So, hindi kayo nag-iisa, no? Because most of the stock market participants who are still in the market 5 years onwards eventually decide to learn and develop a system when it comes to the stock market. So, that leads us into 3 of these major categories. So, dyan papasok yung traders, investors, and speculators. Because kapag hindi ka nag-quit and kapag hindi ka naging forced na investor or you didn't forget your portfolio, eventually, madidiscover mo tong mga tatlong bagay na to eh. Either kumikita ka ng onte, diba? Or natatalo ka ng onte, tapos nare-realize mo kaagad na may kailangan kang gawin. So, that will eventually lead you into becoming a trader, an investor, or a speculator. So, pag-usapan muna natin kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin pag tinawag kang trader. So, traders are market participants that buy and sell stocks to profit from short-term to long-term price fluctuations. So, this means traders most of the time focus on short-term to long-term price fluctuations or nagfo-focus sila sa capital appreciation. And there are different types of traders. So, there are several categories and subcategories, subsets of traders. Pero, ito yung 4 na widely known or people will radiate, no, into these 4 categories. So, una dito is yung scalpers. So, ang ginagawa ng mga scalpers is nagba-buy and sell sila ng mga stocks, tapos within minutes or hours lang, binibenta na nila yung position. So, kunwari, bumili ka sa umaga, pwedeng sa umaga pa lang, ibebenta mo na kapag nag-increase na yung price ng 2% or 3%, diba? Or pwedeng ibebenta mo sa hapon. So, basically, madalian na trading lang talaga. Sobrang short term. And then, here comes the second category ng mga traders, which is day traders. So, strictly by definition, when you say day trader, sila yung hindi nag-hold ng position overnight. So, pagkagabi, wala na talaga silang posisyon. Kumbaga, umaga hanggang hapon lang talaga yung pinakamatagal nilang paghawak ng stock. Pero, most of the time, I still consider day traders who hold their positions in a span of 2 to 3 days, or even less than 5 days. For me, I still consider traders na nag-hold ng position nila ng less than 5 days as day traders actually. And then, the third category is swing traders. So, they hold their positions by weeks. So, ito na yung mga, syempre more than 5 days kasi nga weeks na tayo eh. So, 2 trading weeks, 3 trading weeks, or 4 trading weeks. So, ayan yung time frame na madalas nagiging basis ng mga swing traders, And for position traders, their trades can lead to months and even years, Depende sa theory na na-formulate nila kung bakit nila gustong bilhin at hawakan yung stock ng sobrang tagal. And these category of traders use different types of trading setups. And I'm sure you're familiar with some of these types of trading setups like range trading, trend following, momentum trading, scalping. Pero hindi ko muna pag-uusapan yan sa video na to because it's too specific on traders, So, I'll talk about that in some other time or in a different video na lang. Pero yan muna yung gusto kong magets nyo na yan yung mga different types of traders. So, traders rely mostly on charts or technical analysis. So, nakatutok madalas, sa mga charts at gumagamit ng mga iba't ibang indicators like moving averages, RSI, MACD, Bollinger Bands, volume, etc. So, again, I won't discuss most of that indicators, probably some other time. Pero gusto ko lang i-point out na traders rely mostly on these tools when making trading decisions. So, paano mo malalaman na ang isang market participant ay leaning on more sa pagiging trader? So, ito yung mga lingo, ang mga vocabulary ng mga traders na to. So, example, bumili ako kasi nag-breakout na sa resistance sa 15.02. So, I'm sure may narinig na kayong different variation yan. Or di kaya, nagbenta na ako kasi malakas na yung selling sa 12.48. Or pwedeng nagbenta na ako kasi tumama na sa resistance. So, yun yung mga iba't ibang variation yan. So, pababa na tong stock na to kasi breakdown na siya eh. Or di kaya uptrend tong stock na to kasi ang ganda nung MA20. So, may mga iba't ibang variations pa niyan. Pero, I'm sure napakinggan nyo na yan or nabasa nyo na yan before nyo pa mapanood tong video na to. So, when you hear or read those terms, you can assume na itong tao na to, trader yan. An example of this would be my DigiPlus na trade na I got 20% gain sa loob ng isang oras. So, nagawa ko to nung first week ng July during kasagsagan ng pagbaba ng plus, How can I say that this is a stock market decision na ginawa ng isang trader? It's simple because pababa nga yung plus nun. So, of course, walang investor, 'di ba, na magsasabi sa iyo na maganda bilhin yung stock na yan. Kasi pababa yung stock tapos magkakaroon ng ban or magkakaroon ng overregulation, 'di ba? So, the stock market decision made sa stock na to is simply because it looks good sa chart. It looks good sa technical analysis standpoint. So, I made a video of this. So, I'll just paste dito sa upper right ng screen or sa description box below so you can check out that video kung paano ko na-trade yung plus based on technical analysis alone without any other strategy or technique. Second category is investors. So, there are a lot of definitions and descriptions on what investors are. May mga different subsets din siya. But most of the time, investors are market participants that buy and sell stocks to profit from long-term price appreciation and dividends. So, keyword dito yung long-term tapos dividends because most investors are actually in it for the long haul. Walang investors na bumibili ng stock para sa short term because most investors have a very long holding period and some even decide to hold these stocks forever pa nga, kasi nagagandahan talaga sila sa mga ibang companies. Investors rely mostly on financial statements or formulas or basically fundamental analysis. How do you know if a person or a stock market participant is leaning on more sa pagiging investor, no? So, ito yung madalas mong naririnig or nababasa sa kanila. Ang baba pa ng PE ratio, mura pa tong stock na to. Or pwede din, ang taas naman ng book value ng stock na to. Or di kaya, mababa sa Graham number, sobrang undervalued pa nung stock na to. And probably a different variation of ang ganda ng Q3 report ng stock na to, tumaas ng sobra yung income ng company. So for investors, importante yung mga nababasa nila sa mga financial statements because they use these details to support yung mga ginagamit nila na financial formulas to come up with price projections nila, no, or how they value certain stocks para makita nila yung difference nun sa current stock price at somehow makaproject sila ng possible na maging price ng stock na yun in the future and dun sila kumikita. So, an example of this would be ICT. So, alam ko na hindi lahat ng investors gumagamit ng chart and hindi lahat ng investors may pakialam sa chart, pero I'll just show the chart ngayon para lang ipakita sa inyo yung nagawa ng ICT. So, ito yung stock ng ICT during the period of 2022 to 2024. So, yung mga prices niya, no, around 236 lang. Tapos, even reaching a price of 152. So, gumagalaw lang yung prices around this area. So, basically, nag-average lang siya ng around 200 pesos for 2 years, no? 2022 to 2023 and 2023 to 2024. And then, because of good fundamentals and they were able to provide good dividends, tapos may mga news pa ng expansion nila, ng mga projects. And then, if you remember, 2022 to 2023, no, nagsa-start ng somehow bumalik yung economy or yung galawan, no, ng trade globally, no, as a whole. So, ang nangyari, nag-benefit ng sobra yung ICT sa global trade nung bumabalik na paunti-unti yung mga bagay-bagay after COVID. So, eventually, from 2024 up to this date, at these prices, no, nag-increase na yung stock ng 100%. So, dumoble na yung price or sobra pa in a span of less than 2 years, no, after yung galaw niya na nasa 200 lang. So, it's because of good fundamentals nung stock na to. So, again, I just showed the chart to show you the price movement. Pero wala tayong pinag-usapan ng mga kahit anong technical analysis dyan. It's just to show you yung figure, no, na nagawa ng ICT. And then, the third category, so speculators. Again, there are several definitions, descriptions of what a speculator is or what speculators are. But to put it simply, speculators are market participants that buy and sell stocks in order to make profit. So, speculators rely mostly on news, on hype, so sentiment-based, no? And sa Philippine vernacular or Philippine slang, sa PSE natin, ang tawag dito is hula analysis, no? It's a word play on the word hula and analysis, kaya hula analysis. Or pwede din chismis analysis. So, it's chismis because either you get it from friends, from people you follow on social media, or private groups na sinasabing sekreto lang itong mga galaw ng ganitong stock. And most of the time, decisions made through speculation are emotional decisions. So that's why most stock market participants fall sa category nito because may mga nababasa sila na itong stock na to tataas ng 100%, 150%, diba, to the moon, or rocket ship na to, or mga iba't iba pang mga sinasabi. So how do you know if a market participant is leaning on more sa speculation or speculator na side? So ito yung mga example niyan. So again, mentioning some of these stocks, hindi yan recommendation and hindi ko sinasabing totoo yan na nangyayari yung stock na yan mismo, no? It's just part of the conversation and the discussion, but I'm sure may mga nababasa na kayong ganito or a variation of. So example, nasa Brazil na yung plus by September, so tataas na tong stock na to. Or di kaya ang daming hawak ni insert broker's name, hindi na to bababa kasi inaalagaan nila yung stock. Or di kaya favorable yung Konektadong Pinoy Bill or yung Konektadong Pinoy Act para sa dito. Ito yung magpapataas sa dito, Isa pang example, tataas na yung ASEN kasi renewable energy is the future. So, ibig sabihin, tataas sila. So, some of these statements, variations of these statements, leaning on more yan sa speculation. So, bakit? Although some or even most of these comments or these sentences or phrases, talaga namang may sense. Kasi nga, pag sinabi mo halimbawa na magkakaroon na ng DigiPlus sa Brazil and alam natin na sobrang lakas ng revenue dito sa Pilipinas before, so logically, masasabi mo nga na okay, good news nga talaga na mapupunta yung plus sa Brazil kasi another revenue or another income stream na naman yun para sa company. Pero pag sinabihan mo ko na tataas na yun or sigurado ka na dyan, then that's a bit scary because it's speculation kasi hindi mo alam kung anong pwedeng mangyari. Sino bang makakapagsabi sa atin na after mag-start yung business ng Plus sa Brazil, no, after 2 to 3 months, mag-decide silang gawin din yung regulation na ginawa ng Philippines? E di yung ending, wala na namang income or di-decrease yung income ng Plus sa Brazil, di ba? So every time we make statements like these, more on speculative siya kasi hindi naman talaga natin sigurado kung ano yung mangyayari in the future. And another realization, most market participants actually start off by being speculators. Again, being a speculator means you're buying or selling stocks based on sentiment, which is most of the time driven by emotions or feelings. So gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, if you started in the stock market tapos nag-open ka ng account sa broker mo tapos bumili ka ng Jollibee because binase mo yun sa decision na mahilig kang kumain sa Jollibee tapos sa tingin mo, hindi na sila malulugi ever. That's based on speculation, di ba? Kasi wala ka namang objective reason or objective na strategy or technique in order for you to buy JFC or Jollibee shares. It's simply based on your preference. And most of the time, yung preference na yun comes from an emotion or feeling. So, madalas talaga, pag nagsisimula yung stock market participant, speculation talaga yung nauuna dyan. And then, eventually, they decide to become investors, no, using fundamental analysis or traders that focus on technical analysis or different subsets of those stock market schools, no? So, ano ba yung example nitong speculation? So, again, I'm not gonna talk about technical analysis here, but I'll just show you the chart, no, to describe ano yung sinasabi ko at paano nagkakaroon ng speculators at paano sila kumikita. So, punta tayo sa stock na TBGI. So, TBGI, nag-increase yung stock na to nung August 22 and yung prices niya before that around this area lang, no, sa 0.13. Tapos nung August 22, nag-increase siya ng more than 50% sa average niya and even nung August 26, no, umabot as high as 114%. And then ngayon, nasa 48% na lang siya. So, ano yung rason kung bakit tumaas yung TBGI? Very simple, dahil sa konektadong Pinoy Bill na nag-lapse into law. So, stock market participants are speculating na pwedeng magkaroon ng play yung TBGI because of course, they are a broadband group. So, pwede silang mag-decide na mag-offer ng better or more broadband services nationwide. So, of course, speculators will buy into this stock thinking na tataas siya in the future. So, ngayon pa lang, bumibili na sila. So, just because of that simple logic or that simple thought or opinion, hindi mo na tiningnan yung technical analysis, hindi mo na pinag-aralan yung earnings ng stock, kung ano ba yung mga projects nila, kung sino ba yung management, at kung ano-ano pa, no? Simply just because of knowing the konektadong Pinoy Bill has lapsed into law, binili mo tong stock na to, kumita ka. So, ayan yung sinasabi natin na speculation. But of course, caveat lang, it's very dangerous kasi pag nagsispekulate ka, hindi mo naman alam kung alin yung totoo or hindi sa nababasa mo or naririnig mo, di ba? So, yes, you can profit from speculation, but it's very hard to become consistent na purely speculation lang yung ginagawa mo kasi hindi mo alam kung alin yung totoong mangyari sa hindi mangyari because there are a lot of people or individuals out there na naglalabas lang basta-basta ng mga news or naglalabas lang ng hype in order for you to fall for these type of plays. So, sabi ko nga kanina, there are different subsets of the categories ng traders, investors, and speculators, no? And here are some of those combinations or what I call hybrids. So, fundamental analysis plus technical analysis. So, may characteristics ng pagiging investor tapos may characteristics ng pagiging trader, no? So, some call these stock market participants as techno-fundamentalists or may mga iba-iba pa, no? Pero in essence, it's just a combination of fundamental analysis, FA, plus technical analysis or TA. So, market participants that pick stocks that have good fundamentals, then they use technicals on when to buy and sell. So, they do research kung alin yung company na okay, kung alin yung company na maganda. Then, dinadagdagan nila ng combination ng technicals para makapag-decide kung alin yung stock na maganda bilhin or kung dapat na ba nilang ibenta yung stock nila. Or inversely, pwedeng tumitingin sila ng chart, nakita nila na maganda yung nagiging galaw ng stock. So, they research if the stock has good fundamentals and then they decide whether to buy or sell those stocks. So, an example of this would be LTG. So, punta ulit tayo sa chart. So, LTG, somewhat similar, no, sa galawan ng ICT because from 2022 up to 2024, sideways lang siya. So, lowest niya is around 7.80 na price area. And then, as high as 11.30. Pero, yung gitna niya, no, halos nasa 9.50 and below 10 lang na price area. And then, up until this year, tumaas yung stock. So, during this period, yung LTG consistently nagbibigay ng dividends. Actually, one of the companies that gives out high yields, no, sa dividends. And then, constant naman yung earnings nila at okay until eventually, it made a breakout sa consolidation niya. So, dun pumapasok yung magandang fundamentals ng stock and then, lumabas sa chart na magiging maganda yung galaw niya. So, nag-breakout siya, no? So, it made a breakout sa 1150 area. And from the consolidation, the stock has already went up by nearly 30%, no? Since the consolidation. So, that is a combination of good fundamentals and technical analysis, no? Dictating kung dapat bang pasukin or hindi yung stock na to. So, that's an example. So, another hybrid or combination ng categories natin is fundamental analysis plus speculation. So, market participants that look at fundamentally sound stocks and begin forming theories on what price could be based on sentiment. So, isang example niyan is SM and SMPH. So, again, this has nothing to do with technicals but I'm going to show you yung chart. So, mas madaling mapag-usapan at ma-describe ko sa inyo yung combination ng fundamental analysis and speculation. So, here's the chart of SMPH. So, again, walang technicals. Ina-identify lang natin yung price movement. So, before the pandemic, no, went full-blown around March 2020, yung price ng SMPH was around 40 pataas. And then, nung nangyari yung mga lockdowns, the price went down by negative 50%. And with good reason, since lockdowns are announced, ibig sabihin, bawal lumabas, no? So, magkakaroon ba ng income yung mga malls? Or magkakaroon ba ng benta yung mga kondo ng SMDC? So, syempre hindi kasi may mga tao magtitipid at bawal nga lumabas. So, hindi pwedeng punta sa mall, 'di ba? So, if you're going to look at that sentiment, sobrang sama niya. Kasi ibig sabihin malulugi yung SM, no, yung SMPH. But if you know the fundamentals of SMPH, you know that it's a good company, no, in terms of yung real estate na meron sila, whether those are malls or yung mga condos. So, investors that have speculation in their strategy or in their system thought na sobrang baba na ng price ng SMPH. And if the only reason why bumaba yung stock price nila is because nagkaroon ng lockdown, inversely, a time will come na matatapos yung mga lockdowns and eventually, babalik tayo sa dati. Hindi lang nila mapipredict kung kailan, but of course, they know that it will happen na babalik pa rin sa dati. So, without looking at the charts, no, just identifying the price of SM from a few months back, no, nung 2020, so nasa 40 nga siya. Ibig sabihin, if you buy sa 30 and below, mura yung SM sa price value na yun. Kasi, halimbawa, sumalo ka sa 28 na price and sabi mo nga, pwedeng bumalik sa dati yung galawan, no, ng SM, ng SMPH. So, that would lead to a 40% and even 50% gain. And ano nga yung nangyari? So if we're going to look at the price of SM, no, eventually by 2021, nag-increase na yung position ng 44%. And nung medyo naging okay na lalo, so 2022 may mga nakakalabas na din talaga. Ayan, nag-up na siya ng 39, no, 41, 43%. So with that simple analysis of the stock, yung fundamentals niya, tapos a combination of speculation, you're able to create a theory kung saan pwedeng pumunta yung price eventually. So that's why nag-increase yung price ng SM, no? And ibang usapan naman na yung prices ng SM and SMPH this year because it's no longer an issue ng pandemic, but that's a different topic altogether. Pinag-uusapan lang natin dito is 2020 up to 2022. So another combination is technicals plus speculation. So market participants that analyze stocks with good sentiment, then they use technicals or when to buy and sell. So basically, pwede siyang market participant na nakikita niyang may stock na trending or may stock na maingay sa social media or sa trading world. Tapos, i-check niya kung may magandang technicals ba yung stock para bilhin or dapat na bang ibenta. And inversely, pwede ding may stock market participant na nakikitaan niya ng magandang setup yung stock based sa chart. And then, ginagamit niyang qualifier yung sentiment kung okay bang bilhin tong stock na to, kung magte-trending ba to eventually. So, that's technical analysis plus speculation. And one example of this is SGP. So, kung napanood niyo yung mga previous videos ko, you already know that I traded this stock and hawak ko pa rin siya. So, punta tayo sa chart. So, I'll give a short description on why I bought this stock in the first place. So, if you're able to watch yung mga previous videos ko, or you're a member of this channel and nasubaybayan nyo yung 24K to 1M challenge na portfolio, alam nyo na meron akong posisyon sa SGP. So, yung theory ko or yung stock market decision ko on why I bought SGP is very simple. So, nagkakaroon kasi ng consolidation nun, no, sa SGP. So, around this area. And it also had a small consolidation around this area. So, sa chart pa lang, inaabangan ko na yung mga pwede niyang galaw, no? Kung saan ako pwedeng magkaroon ng entry. Because I'm anticipating na magkakaroon ng magandang move because I can see it sa chart. And also, during that time, napapansin ko na madalas na siyang napapag-usapan sa social media or sa mga trading forums, no, or sa trading world, no. So, para sa akin, I think it would make a move if ever magkaroon ng magandang breakout or magandang galaw. So, during the first week of August, I started buying the stock. So, eventually, I was able to build up a position sa 12.22 and then I simply plotted yung mga resistances. So, I was speculating on where the prices could go after it made a significant move. And alam niyo yan, sa mga several reviews ko, yung resistance sa 14. So, that's why nagkaroon siya ng pause dito because naka-encounter siya ng selling pressure sa 14. And then, around 15.08 na price area because it was encountering selling pressure dahil sa resistance. And then, again, may resistance tayo sa 16.50. That's why nagkaroon ulit ng selling around this area. So, again, wala akong napag-usapan na fundamentals doon, no? Wala akong mga pinag-usapan ng mga financial formulas, wala akong pinag-usapan ng mga financial statements. I simply used technical analysis and identified that there was a good sentiment sa stock. That's why I bought. So, yan yung combination ng technical analysis plus speculation. And of course, there is a system wherein three of these things are combined. So, fundamentals plus technicals plus speculation. So, market participants pick stocks that have good fundamentals. So, basically, good companies, tapos nagkakaroon sila ng good sentiment, and they use technicals when to buy and sell or for market timing. So, example nito is Costco, which I traded also back then. So, punta natin yung chart. So, yung Costco, around the fourth quarter of 2024, up to the first quarter of 2025, yung prices niya andito lang, no? Sa level na to. So, it's just moving sa 5 price area up to 5.70. So, basically, nagre-range lang siya from 5.30 to 5.50 area. And then, during this time, I was seeing good sentiment sa Costco. Napapag-usapan na rin siya, and then nagkakaroon ng good volume. So, in terms of the speculative nature of the stock, I thought na nagiging good na yung sentiment niya. And in terms of funda or fundamentals ng stock na to, it's actually the holding company of Keeper and Pure Gold, no? So, they own a substantial percentage of Keeper and P Gold, and marami pa silang ibang hawak na subsidiaries or mga companies. So, in terms of funda and in terms of sentiment, okay siya. So, ang natitira na lang doon was to actually identify where I would enter the stock. And I was able to enter the stock around April 21. So, ito yan, yung candle na yan. And then, using technicals, I was speculating na price would have a hard time going above 7 because merong mga nakaabang na resistances around 7.15 or near that area, a few ticks above and a few ticks below, pwedeng magkaroon ng selling. So, I was already priming myself na kapag nagkaroon ng sobrang lakas na bentahan around that area, I would sell. So, doon pumapasok yung technical analysis na system or na strategy. So, eventually, when price went down sa 7 nung June 13, I already sold sa area na yon. So, sa June 13 ako nagbenta, below the 7 price area. And I covered this sa previous videos ko sa 24K to 1M because I actually traded this stock there and also sa main portfolio ko. So, that's how a combination of fundamentals, speculation, and technical analysis come together. So, ulitin ko lang lahat ng major categories and possible hybrid or combinations ng mga categories na to. So, we can enumerate majority of the different types of market participants. So, andyan yung mga traders who purely trade based on technical analysis. And andyan yung mga investors who buy stocks by using fundamental analysis, and andyan yung speculators who buy stocks based on speculation, news, hype, sentiment, chismis analysis, hula analysis, and we have your funda plus tech, combination of trading and investing principles, funda plus speculation, so funda principles plus speculating, and then tech plus speculation, so reading charts and then using sentiment or speculating na rin, and a combination of the three. Nakaka-discuss lang natin ng panghuli, yung funda plus tech plus speculation. So you might ask, Sir Jess, what type of market participant ka ba? So for those who are new to this channel, baka wala pa kayong idea kung ano yung system or technique or strategies na ginagamit ko. But if you've been a subscriber or viewer of mine for several months now and napanood mo tong video na to, I'm sure you already have a good idea on what type of stock market participant I am. Konting backstory lang para ma-describe ko ng maayos, So, at the beginning of my stock market journey, I started off thinking that I was going sa stock market in order to invest. So, nababasa ko na noon yung mga about sa mga big companies na sa Philippines like JFC, BPI, BDO, MBT. And syempre, madalas na mga books kasi noon na about sa stock market is, syempre, ang na-advertise dyan, sina Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, yung mga bilyonaryo ng mga investors. So, eventually, I got hyped na pumasok sa stock market in order to invest and syempre, make profits or make my money grow. But nasa isip ko na investor ako. Pero sa totoo lang, yung nagagawa ko is mostly speculating because I wasn't actually researching about my strategies or my techniques. So kung ano lang yung nababasa ko sa social media, kung ano lang yung nasasabi ng mga trading or investing gurus, And then eventually, I read books about fundamental analysis, about investing, stuff of that nature. And then I realized that it was not working for me. Tapos, natutunan ko yung pagbasa ng charts and nag-lean on more na ako sa technical analysis. But that doesn't mean na purely technical yung system or yung strategy ko. So, as you've seen and heard sa mga previous descriptions ko, there are times na I trade purely based on technical analysis. Kagaya nung trade ko sa Plus, wala akong kahit anong iniisip na sentiment dyan or funda. I just simply thought that the price I bought it was a very good area in terms of the technical. And then, yung SGP trade ko, no? Combination ng technicals yun, tapos speculation. And then, Costco is a combination of the three. So, if I would specifically describe it, I'd say 80% of the time, it's purely based on technicals, yung mga trades na ginagawa ko. And then, probably 10% funda and 10% speculation. Kasi hindi ko na talaga maaalis sa sistema ko, no? Yung mga natutunan ko din when it comes to fundamental analysis, because syempre may bearing yun and may weight yun, no, when it comes to the movement of stocks. And syempre andun din tayo sa sentiment driven na galaw ng mga stocks sa Pilipinas, since alam natin na dito sa Philippines yung mga news, no, at mga hype hindi naman na nawawala yan eh. So of course I use that din sa mga trading decisions ko. I just have a system in order to filter out yung nakikita kong maayos or good contribution na type ng sentiment sa mga decisions ko, no? So, I'm 80% technicals and 10% funda and 10% speculation. So, now that I've talked about what type of stock market participant I am, so sa mga viewers or mga subscribers ko dyan, no, you can comment down below in just a few sentences, no? Describe nyo kung anong klaseng stock market participant kayo ngayon. And comment nyo lang paano kayo nagsimula, kung ilang taon na kayo sa trading or investing, and what led you sa type ng market participant na kayo ngayon, and paano kayo umabot sa identity nyo ngayon. So, I'm just curious and interested din kung ano yung naging stock market journey ng mga subscribers ko and mga viewers ko. So, if you have the time and you want to share din yung stock market journey nyo, you can just comment down below and pag-usapan natin yan sa comment section. So, ayun lang, that ends this video talking about the different types of stock market participants. So, you can click yung mga link dito sa right to watch my previous videos. You can also click the link on the left for you to join the membership group of this channel sa Momentum tier and have access to exclusive videos. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. So ayun lang, and thank you for watching this video.